purpose. Drop the dribble and the babble, flatten your lips away. La-di-da, blah blah blah, na-na-na-na-na. That's all I hear, let's make it clear and put a stop to it right here and now. Don't ask how but why, the problem's not the you but the I. The beginning of introspection, lead to self-reflection. So take a little moment to search within. You never know what treasures you'll find in the end. You just might rectify injustice runs the trend in order you can stretch and not break. But instead bend, free to roam as you please, not living life on your knees, perpetuating sleaze. So stop the selfish pride and submit it with ease, because in these days we have only it God to please. This is where change happens, beginning in ourselves. This is where change happens, beginning in ourselves. Don't let your tongue babble on with mindless utterance or nonsense. Just remember to speak with a purpose. Don't let your tongue babble on with mindless utterance or nonsense. Just remember to speak with a purpose. This is where change happens, beginning in ourselves. This is where change happens, beginning in ourselves. Speak with a purpose, SWAP, swap the nonsense for uncommon sense. Present yourself in the present tense to elevate and alleviate. Good for the former, bad for the latter. Don't forget about the fact of the matter that we all are born and die. So aim to leave this world without a trace or hint of a single lie. Let us not take an eye for an eye, because brother, it wouldn't be my spine and thine eye. How can you say that we're not blind if we treat one another as savages so cruelly? I suspect you've not taken to heart the sage wisdom of the Proverbs, or worse yet, you just may have denied witness to them truly. This is where change happens, beginning in ourselves. Don't let your tongue babble on with mindless utterance or nonsense. Just remember to speak with a purpose. Don't let your tongue babble on with mindless utterance or nonsense. Just remember to speak with a purpose. This is my calling. Speak with a purpose. This is your calling. Speak with a purpose. This is our calling. Speak with a purpose. This is my calling. Speak for God's purpose. I came to set my foot down and let my voice be heard, because what I speak is not without its inherent worth. Let us stand and be still so that we may know and understand our place, ultimately relative to God's eyes. To pursue knowledge is honorable and commendable, but to understand how little one truly knows is to be wise. So the earlier one accepts limitations, the quicker that one can begin to know thyself. What do we perceive but that which our senses allow us to? That which is our natural biological bias of reality. I came to set my foot down and let my voice be heard, because what I speak is not without its inherent worth. Let us stand and be still so that we may know and understand our place, ultimately relative to God's eyes. To know and control one's facilities is admirable and noble, but it must be realized where that one leaves off and where the living infinite picks up. Take a look into the golden mirror of truth in order that you can recognize and see truly beyond your, my, and our own eyes. Our purpose. I came to set my foot down and let my voice be heard, because what I speak is not without its inherent worth. The ability of our natural senses to grasp the absolute truth is outside the realm of our capacity of perception. The sooner we submit the selfish to the selfless, the sooner we can receive the abundance of grace. Zero grace.
whatever it is. Give me a minute, okay? Give me a minute, okay? I'm not awake yet. It's too early. Healer, let me know when the sun's out. I've got morning brain. I've got morning brain. Dark outside. No daylight to be found. Why am I awake right now? Eerily still, no sound. Slow trek to winding up for the day. Need to wipe the sleep from my eyes. Not yet all there. I can't hear my mind waiting and waiting and waiting to lift the fog and open up the mind. It's past due to be released from these confines. Away with this dastardly morning brain. Oh no. Not again. Can't go back. I won't restart. Where is the remedy? I need to find it. Forget you, morning brain. I'm done. No, I'm done. No, groggy still, stumbling. Force myself to push through. I am not a slave to complacency. This is beyond overdue. No more torpidity to hold me down. Throw the coffee aside, awake inside. Sluggishness will only delay the inevitable. Now is the time to become alive. Waiting and waiting and waiting to lift the fog and open up the mind. It's past due to be released from these confines. Oh yes, this can't impede or hold me down on my way to progress of the utmost fulfillment. Now I'm finally stepping past the haze, because staggering behind isn't an option anymore. This feat has finally met its match. This is where the morning turns to day. This veil of confusion will be lifted up off my eyes, for there shall not be any fog remaining in my mind any longer. How could I have allowed all the nonsense and distraction to detract me to become so blind? Now it's plain to see that harm's perpetuity has kept me from the true vision of reality. This never used to be an issue to compromise, reared its ugly head, seeped in, assimilated, and infringed me to the point where I was near dead. Though in realizing within a moment of clarity, it all became obvious so suddenly. You never know where the leaf may fall, but you have the divine wherewithal of greatness inside to know your creator, the God who has conquered all. Let this be a reminder of who alone is immortal. Lift the fog off your mind and remove the scales from your eyes, because this hindrance is what you fight against without your knowledge, awareness, or consent. It's time to wake up, break out of your shell and get energized. Upgrade that mediocre thing that you call life to supersize. The presence of perspicacity brings me closer to the beauty of clarity, of mind, of body, of soul, and of spirit, bringing with it the notion, don't break it, but instead heal it. Now when the fog of morning brain comes to pass, where do you look but up and say, thank you, God, finally, at last. Oh no, what? The brain is kicking in on overdrive again. What? How am I going to stop it this time? What? These ideas, these concepts, they just keep coming. What? All these sounds, and images, and words, they never stop. How can I make good use of all this madness? What good are these things if I can't utilize them? I feel like my mind could explode at any moment now. Releasing a frenzy of erratic energy. Giving way to the fuel of monumental transformation. Leading down the path, a watershed of epic proportions. Not knowing what dare awaits. Beware. This barrage could avalanche. So consider yourself warned. This is my mind on overdrive. Ring, 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 ding-a-ling-a-long language. I spit and spat, discussing every man that crosses my mind across the expansions of time on the drop of a dime. So can you say it's a crime that I'm feeling sublime, that feeling overtakes me to fly high, touch the sky, and get a piece of the pie? Oh me, oh my, how the time flies when not dealing with lies. Having open eyes in order to realize the good in life for the little things to relieve strife. Take for instance, did you ever notice how synonymous joyous and joyful are, or wondrous and wonderful are you and me to be, to see all the glory of God around us? No muss, no fuss, with good family, friends, and food, all in order to put us in the best mood. Tick, 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 tock. Tick, tock. Time goes on, but my mind never rests like the hands of a clock. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Time goes on, but my mind never rests like the hands of a clock. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Here my mind goes racing 100 miles a minute with everything desired left to be finished. So lightning storm surges across the neural network erratically inside the cranium, funnel down to those constrained channels that we call hands, feet, and a mouth. So what can I come up with? What can I invent to avoid an efficacy drought? I mean, who wants or aims to become a staggering lout, looking to tout, to laud themselves with fanciful nothings, only to the tune of vacant whistles and empty bells? This is Overdrive, and here I am coming down with not a case of the cold but the black and blues, alongside that sinking feeling heading toward the notion with nothing left to lose, scratching and clawing for dear life. I can't see the light. The destitution, the fight, the deprivation, the blight, the pain, the plight. Where do I go from here? Is there light at the end of this tunnel? What sense can be made of this? Here I am, lost in all of this madness. Left behind, staggering, trailing. Where has this mind's overdrive taken me? Oh, yes, get back into the groove of life. Limber up, jump around, shake loose to awake me inside. Boost up, challenge the mind, shock my system and make me alive. Here I go again, running this trajectory, ultimately not knowing where I'm going, but having fun. That is, until I'm not, because the realization hits me of time and mortality. Now looking up utility and retrospect and prospect respectively, I can't let a moment go to waste. There is so much to be done. It is now that the battle has begun. With neurons firing, I have to calm down to focus all this overwhelming energy into a funnel to harness every sliver of a smidgen of an iota of all its potential and potency. Because you see, what's to stop and hinder us to stay in our own way, except our false self against the only true divine as we ignorantly disobey. That leads off with what more is there to say. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Time goes on, but my mind never rests like the hands of a clock. Tick, tock, tick, tock. The stimulation overload must be confronted to quell its rule over my mind or abandoned altogether, because its food is just a sensory dump piling ever higher with no emulation. In the age of information, it's amazing the sheer amount of disservice of misinformation. Overdrive. Now what can we do? Where do we go? What say you of salvation? How do you answer these questions without a solid foundation? I can tell you this much, that it lies beyond the measurable, the finite, and the temporal, where doubt can only remain. So if you've got a mind that ponders deep into these quandaries, please learn to never let it dwindle, or else that good and great gift will turn its head against you like a spindle. This is the declared blessing and curse of such a condition, that is, joy and ecstasy measured against the weight of grand accountability. Just remember that each day we're given options 1 and 2, with life or death presented right before you. To socially disconnect can be positive in the right. Be positive in the right. Circumstance or situation. Circumstance or situation. When the tide of change comes upon you and brings you on a path that you don't know, be careful where you step. It just might be the beginning of the end, cause those connections you just made or have had for some time could be a seed of corruption. Let's see what you have to show for those so-called friends that say they have your back, but then desert you at the drop of a hat. This is where the rose-colored glasses come off and you scrape the scales from your eyes in order to see who tells you lies or helps realize the truth within yourself. Social disconnections can be just as valuable as those fake relations, represented only by a screen, digital presence, and virtual reality. Have some wisdom and discernment in making new friends and getting rid of old ones. This is the day and age of societal degradation. Guard your trust as precious currency and let no enemy within your circle. What can we do but guard our hearts and minds against all godlessness? To socially disconnect can be positive in the right circumstance or situation. Please tell me, what is a true connection? A God-honest friendship in your mind or eyes? Can you really attest to that real notion of companionship in your life? Please know this, that a threefold cord is not easily broken, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. So be prepared to fall if you are friendless by choice in ignorance of the reality lying at your feet. You don't know what waits around the corner, so analyze who your friends really are before trouble comes upon you. To know who will uphold you or cast you down into the ground for good. Social disconnections can be just as valuable as those fake relations, represented only by a screen, digital presence, or virtual reality. Have some wisdom and discernment in making new friends and getting rid of old ones. This is the day and age of societal degradation. Guard your trust as precious currency and let no enemy within your circle. What else can we do but guard our hearts and minds against all godlessness? Let the disconnect bring you to a closer connection with those around who really matter, and make an honest and true difference in your lives in order to strive for the better in life, because we all have our own way to take. So may God bless your steps toward the path of life everlasting, in which we all prosper for the sake of His marvelous glory, never ending by divine nature. So when you analyze your social connections, take notice of those which are worth disconnecting. Knock, knock, knock. What could that be? Pounding inside your chest. It's just your heart beating because of unrest, reminding you how serious your mission is, or else you jest. Remember to hold precious matters close, throw away junk and forsake the rest, because the heart's designer knows what is best.
Oh yes!
Lippity skippity doo. Keep that muscle pumping blood and uplifted for you, for all good and well-being to be had. So please don't get mad, because a heart glad makes a cheerful face, but one sad becomes a spirit crushed. So avoid the mush and slush of soulless solemnity. Fight depression's urge and shout exuberantly for the potency of life, ending the tyranny of strife and disgrace, in order to take your place among the greats in the halls of heaven. Now face oppression from the fakes and flakes, with increasing stakes of real matters at hand. Be a leader by taking a stand for the fullness of truth and grace. In life, when you come to a wall with no option but to stall, don't hesitate for God's sake, for the lives of others are at risk of the difference you do and will make. Please, please, oh please, don't make the mistake of indifference or hate against that which one day we must all soberly face. Breathe in, breathe out. Don't allow that crimson passion to coagulate. If you do, you'll inevitably grow complacent and then stagnate. I tell you, that is something worthwhile to hate, because it is neither good nor great. And I'll tell you why. Because if you're not growing, then you die off from the source of life. So forget enjoying vitality by that point, because once your blood flow is cut, then you're moving towards a rut. The cesspool of an idle state of being cuts you down right to the gut. So awake, shake, do what you gotta do to get the spirit of that cardiac muscle in the right state of mind, plain and sane in thought, highly refined. For I know I am designed and defined by God the Creator, who works in me now and later. Do you know that there is none greater? Now taste and see that the Lord is good, for a righteous man does as we all should. That is, worship Him who gave us all hearts of flesh and not of stone, and His word pierces down even to the point between joint and marrow of bone, as well as soul and spirit. Now let's hear it for Him who never leaves alone, nor forsakes His own. Is your heart pumping blood, or is it stagnant? Are you alive, or just breathing? Are you living, or just getting by? Is God the source of your cardiac unrest, or is it something else? The name of the game is the same for the tame of the heart. Will they never cease to release their grasp of peace and of grace? Oh, how to get lost in the pace of life's race and lose face. Don't subject yourself to disgrace. For the love of God, don't let your heart grow old, get cold, and give way to decay mold. Because this life's too precious to find a sign and post stating, here lies the soul sold. Remember that the life of the flesh is in the blood, the seed of the throne lies in the heart, and when you need a fresh new start, go to the Most High One, the great Thou art. Thou art. Thou art. Thou art. Thou art. Oh, how we need that liquid violet ever flow through us to get oxygen to our brains. Not to be distraught, but to trot to good thoughts, avoiding becoming not. We strive to be great, but why not for faithfulness to God who does create? Creatio ex nihilo, do we know Him whom He knows everything? Done under the sun, beyond the expanse of time and space, dwelling in a place of unapproachable light. What unimaginable delight to see Him face to face. Seek and find what of Him in you, whom He desires to shine unequivocally through His grace and truth. Truth and grace, until your cardiac unrest meets His Sabbath rest. Rest, 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 rest,